We have been following a lot of breaking news over the past several hours, and we do have more that is now coming into the newsroom. This coming in courtesy of the Associated Press, as well as Reuters, a story that we have been following here as ABC has now suspended Jimmy Kimmel's late night show indefinitely following comments that he made about Charlie Kirk's killing. The network's decision came. Nexstar announced that its ABC affiliates would preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely over his comments. Quote, Mr. Kimmel's comments about the death of Mr. Kirk are offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our national political discourse, and we do not believe they reflect the spectrum of opinions, views, or values of the local communities in which we are located. That's according to Andrew Alford, president of Nexstar's broadcasting division. As we mentioned, Nexstar made the announcement about its stations, and ABC followed that by pulling the plug indefinitely on Jimmy Kimmel's late night show. Now, we also have just a little bit more information here, as we know that earlier in the day, the FCC chair, Brendan Carr, had urged local broadcasters to stop airing the show on ABC. So again, Nexstar made the decision to pull it from their stations. And then after that, ABC said, we're going to suspend the late night show altogether indefinitely. And this is all related, of course, to the comments that were made about Charlie Kirk's killing. The conservative political activist shot and killed in a targeted attack 1 week ago today as he was at Utah Valley University speaking in front of thousands of people, a crowd estimated to be 3,000 when he was shot. We know that he was rushed over to the hospital there. President Trump making the announcement just hours later that Kirk had died from his injuries. ABC then suspending Jimmy Kimmel's late night show 1 week later indefinitely. We'll keep an eye here on the developments and keep you updated on what happens next. We'll keep you updated on Live Now from Fox.
All right. I'm really not in favor of anybody losing their job or losing their show or losing whatever just because of a comment they're making. But damn, people are very insensitive nowadays. Like in this 21st century, people are very insensitive nowadays. So we got ABC pulled off Jimmy Kimmel's show off the air because of the comments he made about not about Charlie Kirk, about Charlie Kirk's shooter. So people need to be clear about that. It's not about Charlie Kirk, it's about the shooter. He made comments about the shooter. So people need to be sensitive when it comes to things like that. We have a grieving mother because Charlie Kirk was married with 2 kids. So we have a grieving mother, a widow, and 2 children without a father. So, and this man was brutally shot on the neck while in one of his rallies in Utah. So people really need to be very, 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 very sensitive. And what does the Bible say? The Bible says that you should mourn with those who mourn, and we should need to rejoice with those who rejoice. So, for example, if you are going into a home and there's a death in the family and people are mourning, why will you go there and be showing a different attitude and be rejoicing? Like when you go to a home where people are mourning, you need to mourn with them. You need to sympathize with them. Make them know that you share their pain and you share their grief, right? And the same is true on the other side. If you go to a home where people are rejoicing, people are happy, maybe because a new baby is born, or it's somebody's birthday, or somebody graduated and has a new job or anything like that, you need to rejoice with those who rejoice. If you go to a home like that and people are rejoicing, rejoice with them. Share their joy. You can't go there and portray a different attitude. It doesn't really make sense. So it's only logical for you to mourn with those who mourn and rejoice with those who rejoice. So when Jimmy Kimmel come out and make comments like that, it's very insensitive. And we are living in a day and age where people are very sensitive to other people's take and other people's opinion. So anything now you do, you might get fired, or you might get punished, or you might face the consequences of your actions. So people need to be very mindful and people need to be sensitive about their take and about their attitude towards certain positions. So let's continue the video and see what Jimmy Kimmel really said.
And that breaking news here at 6 today, the future of the late night show Jimmy Kimmel Live is in jeopardy. Good evening once again, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams.
And I'm Michael Brownlee. ABC is preempting the show indefinitely because of comments he made following, I should say, the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
NBC4's Conan Nolan joins us live from the newsroom. Conan, that announcement is sending shockwaves through Hollywood tonight.
It is, Colleen, and it deserves a little bit of a backstory. Prior to the news conference on Tuesday that delineated the evidence against the assassin, the alleged assassin of Charlie Kirk, there was a narrative over the weekend that perhaps this man, Tyler Robinson, was actually a supporter of President Donald Trump. In fact, there were those who believed he was part of the ultra-right wing who considered Charlie Kirk to be too liberal, that he was too accommodating to political moderates and leftists. That turned out not to be the case. But in between that wording on the internet and what happened on Tuesday with the announcement of the evidence, it appears that Jimmy Kimmel bought into what was being said online, and that led to the monologue that is in dispute on Monday night. The controversy stemmed from this joke during Monday night's monologue on the Jimmy Kimmel Live show taped on Hollywood Boulevard. It regarded not slain political activist Charlie Kirk, but Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old man accused in Kirk's murder.
We had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. You can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction.
The day following the monologue, prosecutors in Utah County, Utah, indicated that the killer was not a supporter of President Donald Trump, but rather of the political left, and viewed Charlie Kirk as an enemy of the trans and gay movements. Today, the Nexstar Media Corporation, which is in need of FCC approval for a $6.2 billion merger with the media company Tegna, issued a statement saying it strongly objected to Kimmel's comments and was going to replace the show with other programming in its ABC-affiliated markets. ABC Television announced it is suspending airing of the program indefinitely. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr, on conservative commentator Benny Johnson's podcast, threatened to take action against ABC for Kimmel suggesting that Kirk's killer was a Trump supporter.
In what appears to be an action by Jimmy Kimmel to play into that narrative that this was somehow a MAGA or Republican motivated person. If that's what happened here with his conduct, that is really, really sick.
Meanwhile, President Donald Trump, who has long been a critic of Jimmy Kimmel's, responded from the United Kingdom, in part saying on his Truth social media, "Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done." The words of President Trump. I'm Conan Nolan, NBC4.
Right. So in his monologue, he says that, like I said previously, his comments that he made was about the shooter, not about Charlie Kirk. So he said that the shooter belongs to the MAGA, which is Make America Great Again. So the shooter was actually a right-wing person, and the shooter was associated with the Trump administration. Just simply means that the shooter is a Republican and the shooter is a right-wing. But his comments don't really make any sense because the shooter, we all know that the shooter had a hatred for Charlie Kirk. We all know that the shooter had a hatred because of Charlie Kirk's views, So how would the shooter be part of the MAGA and then kill Charlie Kirk? It doesn't really make sense. So when you say comments like that, you need to be very careful because the Trump administration doesn't play. The Trump administration doesn't play games at all. So you face the consequences. So you can't make such statements and which are not even true because there are many evidence that says that the shooter, Tyler Robinson, wrote fascist on the bullet and stuff like that, So clearly the shooter wasn't a MAGA person. Clearly, the shooter wasn't the Trump administration, but the shooter probably was from the left, or maybe an independent guy that just didn't like Charlie Kirk, that didn't like his political views and things like that, and he got pissed off and decided to take the man's life away. So his comments are very, very, is very wrong anyway. So there's no his comment doesn't hold any power, any base, or anything like that. So when you go against Trump administration, you know consequences gonna come. So guys, this concludes the video. Tell me what you like, what you don't like about the news. Do you agree with the comments that I made? What are your views about the Jimmy Kimmel losing his show on ABC? Comment down below, like, share, subscribe. Please support this channel. I really appreciate you. It's going to help with the algorithm. I will see you in the next one. Peace.